What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So we have some good news to share about Social Security and Medicare, so we're going to focus on that in this video. I'm going to show you guys a clip, and this was the Speaker of the House on Sunday. He was talking about Social Security and Medicare, and I think this is relevant. We need to pay attention to what these politicians are saying when it comes to the programs, so that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. Okay, so one thing I want to talk about before we get started is just that. When you're subscribing to the channel, make sure you stay subscribed. Sometimes you have to check to see if you're subscribed to the channel. And the only reason I'm telling you this is when I look at the analytics, the information shows me that there's a huge drop-off right now when it comes to subscribers. And that could be due to just people not subscribing at the same pace. It also can be due to people being unsubscribed and them not knowing about it. And that does happen. I know when I watch certain channels and I subscribe to that channel, and then I look maybe 3-4 months later and I'm not subscribed anymore. So just make sure you check that to see if you're subscribed to my channel, because that will affect if you're getting notifications or not as well. So just check that out for me. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do subscribe, because by subscribing, that does help with the channel and it does help promote this video out to others. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want to take a look at this clip first, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it. And I'm just showing you the portion where he talks about Social Security and Medicare. And then I'm going to show you a couple of polls that were out right now that are talking about this very topic when it comes to how popular is Social Security and Medicare. So let's go ahead and play the clip first. Here we go.
Are you willing to consider any reductions to Social Security and Medicare?
No, let's take those off the table.
Completely.
Yeah, I mean, if you read our commitment to America, all we talk about is strengthening Medicare and Social Security. So, and I know the president says he doesn't want to look at it, but we've got to make sure we strengthen those.
What do you mean by strengthen? Do you mean lift the retirement age?
No. What I'm talking about, Social Security and Medicare, you can keep that to the side. What I want to look at is they've increased spending by 30%, $400 billion in 4 years. When you look at what they have done, adding $10 trillion of debt for the next 10 years in this short time period. If you just look a month ago, they went through and they never even passed a bill through appropriations in the Senate. While Mr. Schumer has been leader, he's never passed a budget. He's never passed an appropriation bill. He simply waits to the end of the year and allowed 2 senators who are no longer here to write a $1.7 trillion omnibus bill.
You want to work with Democrats to come to agreement on a budget?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I first think our very first responsibility, we both should have to pass a budget. We both should have to pass the appropriation bill so the country can see the direction we're going. But you cannot continue the spending that has brought this inflation, that has brought our economic problems. We've got to get our spending under control.
Okay. Just fact check, though. 25% of the debt was incurred during the last 4 years of the Trump presidency. I mean, this is cumulative debt over many years.
Well, over a short this time period, but you've also found that you had a pandemic. And as that pandemic comes down, those programs leave. I've watched the president say he cut it. No, it is spending $500 billion more than what was projected. They have spent more, and we've got to stop the waste.
Is defense spending on the table?
Well, look, I want to make sure we're protected in our defense spending, but I want to make sure it's effective and efficient. I want to look at every single dollar we're spending, no matter where it's being spent. I want to eliminate waste wherever it is.
But when you became Speaker, you did come to that agreement I've referenced of capping 24 spending at 22 levels. Well, look, listen, that would call for reductions.
No, I mean, look, you're going to tell me inside defense there's no waste others. I mean,
so defense spending
they
is
spend
up
a
for
lot of.
negotiation.
I think everything, when you look at discretionary, is sitting there. It's like every single household. It's like every single state. We shouldn't just print more money. We should balance our budget. So I want to look at every single department. Where can we become more efficient, more effective, and more accountable?
So more efficiencies in Social Security and Medicare as well.
The one thing I want to take, we take Social Security and Medicare off the table.
Okay, so then you saw the interview where she actually doubled down on the whole Social Security and Medicare. I think she actually did a good job, because he said that he's taking Social Security and Medicare off the table. He said that the first time, and then they start talking about discretionary spending, which Social Security is not a part of discretionary spending, but she doubled down on that, and then he came back and said, no, it's off the table. Social Security and Medicare are both off the table. So this is really good news because we have the Speaker of the House saying, no, it's off the table. So we're not going to look at making any cuts to Social Security and Medicare. He also said one thing that's important for us to focus on. He said he wants to strengthen, or at least Republicans want to strengthen Social Security. And we'll play that back again.
Are you willing to consider any reductions to Social Security and Medicare?
No, let's take those off the table.
Completely.
Yeah. I mean, if you read our commitment to America, all we talk about is strengthening Medicare and Social Security. So, and I know the president says he doesn't even want to look at it, but we've got to make sure we strengthen those.
What do you mean by strengthen? Do you mean lift the retirement age?
No. What I'm talking about, Social Security and Medicare, you can keep that to the side.
Okay. And so he does say, and I didn't catch that the first time, he does say, no, we're not talking about strengthening Social Security by raising the full retirement age. So that's another thing that's good because we have politicians that are out there right now. We have Republican politicians out there right now that have been talking about raising the full retirement age. They've been talking about this for years. So he's saying that that is not something that they want to do. Now, that's the good news. Now, the bad news is I don't think Speaker McCarthy is going to be there for the full 2 years. I think they're actually going to contest his speakership, and he's going to be in a situation where he's no longer speaker and they have someone new come in. That's just my opinion, because when it comes down to some of these topics, just like he's talking about right now when it comes to Social Security and Medicare, you have some Republican politicians right now in the House that want to make cuts to Social Security. If not, just raise the age limit. They've talked about this. Like I said, they've been talking about this for years. You have politicians right now in the House that are talking about doing that very thing. So if he's saying that it's off the table and they oppose it being off the table, then now we're going to have some conflict, and now we can look at a situation where he's no longer speaker and you have someone new coming in, and then now it's back on the table because the new speaker will have to make concessions, and one of those concessions will be bringing Social Security back on the table. And so right now, this is good because he's saying that it's off the table. So you have the Speaker, the leader of the House, saying Social Security and Medicare are off the table when it comes to cuts. You have Chuck Schumer, the leader in the Senate, saying that Social Security and Medicare are off the table when it comes to cuts. You have the White House. You have President Biden saying that Social Security and Medicare are off the table when it comes to cuts. So at this point, there's no way that they can make any cuts to Social Security. But we're going to have to look at see what happens in the future because it could potentially be a problem in the future. Okay, one more thing I want to show you guys, and this is a poll that was done. This poll was done in 2022, but let's say October 7th of 2022. And this is the data for progress. And they did a poll, and this is interesting. I'm not going to go through the whole poll. Maybe I'll do separate videos and I'll add some more of the information that they provide here. But when it comes to Social Security, and let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit here. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see everything on the screen now. So when it comes to voters, it says voters overwhelmingly want Social Security to continue existing 10 years from now. Very important because we know what happens in 10 years. If they don't do anything in 10 years, we're looking at a reduction of about 20 to 23%. And so look at the results they received in this poll here. And it's important to note, if you look down at the bottom, I know it's in small print, but 1,213 likely voters were asked this question, and this is how they responded. All likely voters, 90%. So 90% of the voters say they want Social Security to still be around in 10 years. When it comes to Democrats, the breakdown, when it comes to Democrats, 92%. When it comes to independents or third party, 88%. When it comes to Republicans, 91%. So if you look, Democrats and Republicans, this is a bipartisan issue, okay? Democrats and Republicans both want Social Security to still be around in 10 years. Now let's move down and we'll take a look at one more of the polls that they did. Now, this poll says a bipartisan majority of voters would rather pay more into Social Security than have its benefits reduced. This is really important for us to focus on because this is what we've been talking about when it comes to the FICA tax, the payroll, increasing that payroll tax. The vast majority of people that were polled here, and this is, again, 1,213 people, likely voters that were polled, they're saying, yes, we would rather you tax us more and allow Social Security to still be around than to not tax us and have the program be reduced. And so this is really something that all politicians should be looking at. Now let's take a look here. All likely voters, 76%. 76% of all likely voters are saying that, yes, we would pay more. When it comes to Democrats, a breakdown here, 83% of Democrats. When it comes to independents and third party, 70% of the third party independents. And when it comes to Republicans, 72%. So the vast majority of likely voters in this poll are saying, look, we'll pay more. We just want Social Security to be there for us. And then also in 10 years, you saw the numbers. The numbers are very, very high when it comes to the reality of having Social Security still around. And the reason that this is important for us to focus on is because you do have politicians that are saying, you know what, let's get rid of Social Security. We need to do away with Social Security. Or let's privatize Social Security, allow you to invest it how you see fit. But the vast majority of people in this poll are saying, no, we need to keep Social Security the way it is and keep it around. And so this is more good news when it comes to just how the people feel about Social Security. And we knew this already, and I've been talking about this for years. When it comes to Social Security, people like the program. When it comes to Medicare, people like the program. But for whatever reason, some politicians are thinking that we need to address it, and we need to cut this and we need to cut that, and we need to sunset it every 5 years or sunset it every year. So we need to look into the program, pull it into discretionary spending. That's another thing that I didn't really talk too much about, because you saw the speaker talking about discretionary spending. Everything when it comes to discretionary spending is on the table. Social Security and Medicare right now, they're not discretionary spending, but you do have politicians that want to bring Social Security and Medicare into discretionary spending. If it's brought into discretionary spending, then guess what? Now it's on the table again. And so just something else to think about. So you might start hearing politicians say, well, let's bring Social Security and Medicare into discretionary spending. We're not making any cuts. We're just shifting the money into discretionary spending. And then what they could say is, well, we're going to bring it into discretionary spending, but that will allow us to put more money into Social Security and Medicare. And potentially, yeah, you bring it into discretionary spending. Now you can add money to it, but that's not the reason why they would want to bring it into discretionary spending. They would want to bring it into discretionary spending so they can make cuts if they need to make cuts. Because if not, there's no reason to bring it into discretionary spending. But this is another trick that you could hear politicians, like a workaround that politicians might start talking about. Let's just bring it into discretionary spending, have everything in one pot, and then we can just spend as we see fit in that situation. So we'll have to see if we hear more politicians talking about that. We've had some politicians talk about the discretionary spending and Social Security and Medicare. So this is what's going on right now. Now, tomorrow, the speaker will be meeting with the president. They're going to be talking about a variety of different things. One of the things they're going to be talking about is the debt ceiling, raising the debt ceiling. And there are two things that are going on right now when it comes to raising the debt ceiling. One is to actually raise the debt ceiling. And then two is to create a budget. So a budget for 2024, basically. And so that's what the speaker wants to do. He wants to have this conversation with the president, come to some type of an agreement before they raise the debt ceiling to balance the budget for 2024. And they're two separate things. And the White House has already indicated, look, you guys need to raise the debt ceiling. And that's one thing. Talking about the budget and moving forward with the budget, that's something totally different, because that's something that the speaker right now has complete control over. Congress has control of the purse. They control the money. So this conversation with the president doesn't even need to happen, because the president can't move forward with anything without Congress. And Congress can't move forward with anything without the speaker approving it. And so when it comes down to talking to the president, this is all it's all political theater. That's all it is, because the president has no power when it comes to the purse. He has no power when it comes to the money. That lies in Congress. And so they can decide. Realistically, this meeting that's happening, it should be just two people. It should be the speaker and it should be the leader of the Senate. So it should be Chuck Schumer and McCarthy. Those are the only people that should be meeting, because those are the people that control the purse, not the president. And so we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. We'll see what comes out of it. I'll definitely post a video and show you guys what they talked about. But when it comes down to Social Security and Medicare, as of right now, it is not on the table, which is good news. Please let me know what you guys think about this down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. Share this video with others, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.